So getting back into the fire when you've been stuck in the fade comes down to one thing, and pretty much every high-performing woman is getting it wrong. If you give me a couple of minutes, I'm going to walk you through something called the sequence diagnostic. I'm going to give you 3 questions that will help you figure out whether your capacity recovery is working or whether the effort that you're putting in is actually just cancelling everything out and putting you deeper into the fade. If you want to shortcut all of this, you can come into Ground Zero. It's a 48-hour protocol that will resolve any acute dysfunction within the nervous system, and it will give you a properly sequenced starting point, a simple plan that you can follow. So just drop the word 0 in the comments and I will be able to send you the link and you can get started straight away. So as always, my name is Celeste. I'm the founder and creator of Project Tempest, and we work with high-performing women to build nervous system infrastructure to help you manage your capacity and keep you in high performance for as long as possible. All of these videos are designed to do one thing: help you. So today, we're looking at diagnosing your capacity constraints. So you know the things that are involved: sleep, regulation, cognitive load reduction, recovery windows. Maybe you've even tried some of the things. Everyone talks about meditation, hot cold plunges, all the biohacking stuff. Might have worked for you, but you're probably not getting the compounding effect that you would expect, the long-term results you would expect, because each practice that you implement will give you a result in isolation, and then the gains will disappear when life comes back at you at full load, especially if you're not consistent. Now, the problem is not the practice. The problem is usually the sequence that you're running the practices in. The sequence is often wrong for one specific reason, because most women are trying to implement recovery work in the same way that people would end up packing their bag for a trip. They're putting the things that seem useful in without any real framework, without any order to go in. You're just slinging things into a backpack and hoping that they've got all the right stuff. Maybe they're putting a breathing practice here, sleep routine here, a sauna over here, meditation over here. Then they're second guessing each one and thinking, should they go deeper into each protocol? And then they're trying to fine tune each one as well. All of these things can work, but only if they are sequenced in the right way. What you end up with when you do this is just a collection of individually helpful practices, but things that won't compound because they're not building on each other in the right order. Because your nervous system has a very specific architecture. You can't build stabilisation on top of a system that's in dysfunction. You can't build resilience on top of an unstabilised baseline. You cannot personalise a protocol effectively until you know your specific constraint. You can run the right components, but if you run them in the wrong order, then it just produces the same result as running the wrong components. It's a temporary improvement. You don't get any compounding effect. And then eventually regression will return along with the pressure. So here's the mechanism. The 3-step sequence diagnostic. 3 questions that you can write down and ask yourself to figure out if what you're doing is actually in the right order. So step 1, are you resolving acute dysfunction first? So if your nervous system is currently in active dysregulation, so you're in the fade, you're waking up all the time, 3 a.m., you're not sleeping very well, your reactivity is high, your emotional regulation is low, you're struggling, any type of rest is not actually restoring you, that is a sign of acute dysfunction. So it needs to be addressed before you can do any capacity building protocol work, because it's just not going to hold. You can't build on top of dodgy foundations. It's like stopping the bleed, essentially. You've got to stop the bleed before you can do anything else. So if you're trying to build on top of an unresolved acute dysfunction in your nervous system, everything that you do, all of the effort that you put in, all the results that you produce will just disappear the moment that we put pressure back on you. So you need to understand, how do I stop that acute dysfunction? Step 2, are you stabilising before you're expanding? So stabilisation means creating a reliable baseline, consistent sleep, predictable recovery, manageable activation to recovery ratios. Expansion means deliberately increasing your capacity ceiling, raising your load tolerance, extending recovery efficiency, building composure under greater intensity. Those are different phases that require different protocols. If you try and push and expand on something that isn't ready for it, you break it. So expansion before stabilisation creates a ceiling on an unstable foundation. It will just hold until real pressure is applied, and then we break. Everything collapses. Step 3. Are you personalising this to your actual constraint, or the most common one? So most generic protocols will address sleep because sleep is usually the most common presenting problem. Your constraint might be different. It might be the cost of masking every day. It might be a decision load accumulation. It might be incomplete activation cycles. It might be a seasonal load pattern. A protocol aimed at a very generic constraint won't work for you. So the sequence diagnostic tells you whether you're in the right phase and whether the protocol matches your specific bottleneck. And that's something we do so well in Project Tempest. I build game plans for everybody because you need to be doing the right thing at the right time. And it works because sequence determines whether effort compounds or just gets cancelled out, whether you're actually doing the right thing or whether you're wasting your time and energy. Now you can start to figure this out yourself by asking yourself those 3 questions from earlier. Like you can run it immediately and know where you're at. If you're doing things in the right order, whether you're in the right phase, whether you've resolved the acute dysfunction before trying to build on top of it, whether what you're doing is personalised or just generic. If you do go through this process and you find that you're in acute dysfunction, then you want to jump into ground zero because that will help with that. It's a 48-hour structured intervention that's built precisely for your starting point. So it'll help resolve that acute dysfunction, and it will give you a correctly sequenced protocol, give you the clearest possible evidence that the fire you're seeking is not gone. Still there, still available to you. We just need to start at the right place with the right thing. So if you want access to ground zero, drop the word zero in the comments and I will send you the link through, and we'll go through all of this. We'll figure out exactly what we need to start with, what your constraint is, and how we're going to deal with this. So drop in the comments 0 and I will send you all of the details and you can get started with that straight away. It's a 48-hour protocol. 48 hours. It's not lengthy. It's not crazy amount of work. It'll actually be built based on the time that you have available to you. If you've only got 20 minutes, then the plan that you get will be structured for 20 minutes. It'll be your data run in the correct sequence and be your constraint based on the time and the resources you have available. And by the end of it, you'll be on your way to getting back into the fire and you'll understand what it's like to have the right infrastructure at the right time. And you'll have the sequence. So drop 0 in the comments and I'll send you the details.